The Haunting of Midnight Manor. In the heart of a small, sleepy town stood Midnight Manor, a grand and imposing mansion with a dark history. It was said that the manor was haunted, and its foreboding appearance cast a shadow over the entire neighborhood, especially during the Halloween season. As Halloween night approached, rumors of strange occurrences at Midnight Manor began to circulate. Mysterious lights flickered in the windows, and eerie sounds could be heard echoing from the mansion's depths. Some locals even claimed to have seen ghostly figures in the manor's overgrown gardens. A group of thrill-seekers, including a fearless young woman named Emily, decided to investigate the manor on Halloween night. Armed with flashlights, they gathered outside the imposing wrought iron gates. Dressed in costumes as if to face the supernatural, they ventured inside, determined to uncover the truth. The interior of Midnight Manor was shrouded in cobwebs and draped in dusty velvet curtains, giving it an eerie, abandoned appearance. A chill ran down their spines as they ventured deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine corridors. At the stroke of midnight, the manor came alive with ghostly apparitions. Flickering candles illuminated spectral faces and wispy figures gliding through the rooms. The restless spirits seemed to beckon the intruders deeper into their world. Emily and her friends stumbled upon an old, weathered diary that revealed the tragic history of Midnight Manor. It told the tale of a wealthy family cursed by dark rituals, which had ultimately led to their untimely deaths and the haunting of the mansion. The restless spirits told their stories through whispers, cries, and mournful music. Emily felt a deep connection to one of the spirits, a young girl named Eliza. As they communicated, Emily learned of a way to break the curse that bound the spirits to the manor. Together with her friends, Emily conducted a ritual to release the spirits from their torment. The manor shuddered, and the apparitions were drawn towards a portal of light. As the spirits passed through, they gave their thanks to Emily, and the mansion became still once more. Halloween at Midnight Manor would never be the same. The neighborhood was free from its haunting legacy, and the grand mansion stood in solemn peace. While the legends of the haunted manor would linger, Emily and her friends had achieved a victory that Halloween night, proving that even the most feared places could find redemption. The Cursed Scarecrow of the Lonely Farm. On a remote farm, surrounded by vast fields and eerie forests, stood a lonely scarecrow. It wore a weathered straw hat and tattered clothing, resembling an ancient relic of the past. However, this scarecrow held a sinister secret. Every year, just before Halloween, strange stories were told about the farm. Locals claimed that the scarecrow came to life once the sun went down. It moved on wobbly legs and roamed the dark fields. Its purpose was to seek out souls near the farm. A group of teenagers from the nearby town heard these legends and decided to put them to the test. On Halloween night, they set out for the remote farm, quietly approaching the scarecrow. As darkness fell, the scarecrow came to life. Its head slowly turned toward the teenagers, and it began to approach them. The scarecrow whispered ominous words and extended its tattered arms toward the teenagers. In a panic, they tried to escape, but the scarecrow seemed to anticipate their every move. With each attempt to hide, it drew closer. The teenagers knew they had to defeat the scarecrow to survive. Finally, they managed to locate the scarecrow's weathered heart. It was an old, thorn-riddled book created by a malevolent sorcerer. The teenagers burned the book, and the scarecrow collapsed, engulfed in flames. The curse that had awakened the scarecrow was broken, and the farm was freed from the darkness. The teenagers returned home with a chilling story, knowing that they had vanquished the evil. Since then, the scarecrow was never seen on the farm again, and the legends gradually faded. However, those who hear the tale should be cautious if they ever pass by an abandoned farm, for some secrets are better left undisturbed. The Secret of the Cursed Halloween Doll. It was Halloween night, and the streets were filled with glowing pumpkins and costumed children. In a small village, there was an old, abandoned doll museum that no one had entered for years. It was rumored that one of the dolls in this museum was cursed. A curious girl named Lily and her friends decided to explore the museum on this eerie night. With torches in hand and dressed in costumes, they ventured inside. The dolls were old and dusty, but they still seemed to come alive in their unsettling splendor. In a corner of the room stood a doll that was different from the others. It had glassy eyes that seemed to glow in the dark and an eerie smile on its lips. A note next to it warned not to touch the doll as it carried a centuries-old curse. But Lily's friends laughed it off and found it exciting to touch the doll. As they did, the doll suddenly started speaking. With a mournful voice, it whispered of an old witch who had created the doll to carry out her dark deeds. The doll cursed the children, drawing them into the world of dolls, where they were trapped as miniature figures. The children tried desperately to escape, but they could only helplessly watch as the dolls came to life on Halloween. Every Halloween night, the cursed dolls awoke and started seeking more victims to pull into the world of dolls. No one in the village dared to enter the abandoned doll museum anymore, and the doll with glassy eyes became the guardian of the terrible secret. Halloween after Halloween, the story was passed down, and people avoided the eerie museum like the plague. The cursed doll and the trapped children patiently waited for the next opportunity to draw new souls into their creepy world. The secret of the enchanted pumpkin field. In a small rural town, there was a vast pumpkin field that was known throughout the region for its magnificent pumpkins. But what the residents didn't know was that the field held a dark secret. On a foggy Halloween evening, strange things began to happen in the pumpkin field. The pumpkins started to glow on their own and whispered ominous messages. The Scarecrow in the middle of the field, which had stood there for decades, came to life and began to move. An adventurous boy named Ethan and his friends decided to explore the pumpkin field on this eerie night. They quietly approached the fields and heard the pumpkins whispering, "Help us." The Scarecrow has awakened. The Scarecrow seemed to possess a dark power that held the pumpkins in its thrall. The children ventured closer to the Scarecrow and noticed that it had a creepy, weathered face. It could speak and revealed its sinister history. Decades ago, it had been brought to life by an evil sorcerer to collect the souls of those who entered the field. Ethan and his friends knew they had to defeat the Scarecrow to free the pumpkins and the souls of those who had disappeared in the past. In a desperate struggle, they eventually managed to defeat the Scarecrow and sealed it within a sea of glowing pumpkins. The curse was lifted from the pumpkin field, and the pumpkins stopped whispering. The lost souls returned, and the town was saved. Since then, the pumpkin field has become a popular location for Halloween celebrations, but the locals are aware of its dark history and handle the pumpkins and the old Scarecrow with caution to ensure the curse never awakens again.